inevitable.
When you see men fall, don't laugh. Learn. Learn. Because you're on your way up. And the things that tempt people to fall, you and I are not free from that temptation, nor from the weakness that will cause us to stumble and fall. When you laugh at somebody else's fall, white or black, rich or poor, your enemy or your friend, you are laughing and opening a way for your own demise when you do that. Because to laugh and not learn, to make mockery and not to understand, is to make the same mistake yourself.
Oh, what is up? What is up? Straight Talk Society. Good morning. Good morning on a Sunday morning. Normally, I wouldn't be up this early. I'd probably still be laying in the bed just relaxing. But I decided to wake up early this Sunday morning to give you guys a little touch of pause and reflect. For those of you who don't know what pause and reflect is it's basically a show that I do on a weekly basis in the mornings before I go to work. So I do it like 6:30 in the morning, normally from my office. And it's more of a motivational show. So it's geared towards men. So like it's men motivation, but from the Bible, like more biblical principles, things like that. But lately I kind of broaden it, open it kind of to everybody. So it's just motivation all the way around. But today is Father's Day, and I do have a special show lined up for you guys. And the reason I did this today, I was going to do the show Friday, but then I realized Father's Day was today. And I wanted to take my time with this. I didn't want to, because you guys see sometimes on the Pause and Reflect, you'll see that I'm kind of rushing because I got to go to work. I'm literally doing it before I go to work. So today I just want to take my time. Still won't be a long show, but I don't want to rush through anything, any of the scriptures, things like that. So if you are listening or will listen on your way to work, if your pastor not bringing it like this, just leave. I tell you, because their Mother's Day sermons be so fire, but when it comes to the Father's Day sermons, it's more like, all right. Yeah, and a lot of that could be just too because men aren't really in churches. Like men are leaving churches in droves, which actually next Sunday I'm actually going to be doing a lesson on church hurt. So be sure to tune in for that. But nevertheless, man, good morning to Patricia Moser. Man, she was in here bright and early. Shout out to E in the building, Grand Rising to you, King. And listen, I do want to say this. Happy Father's Day to all the great men out there, all the great men, all the great fathers that paved the way for us to get to where we are today. There's a lot of fathers in the ground. They didn't live to see this one. So we don't take things for granted. And I know there's a lot of kids that are fatherless for whatever reason. Maybe the fathers are in jail. Maybe the fathers are absent in their life. Maybe the fathers, for whatever reason. But I do want to say Happy Father's Day. And I am a big proponent on saying this because I know people don't like to say this, but I'll say this. Women, stand down. Today's not your day. Just stand down. You get basically all the days on the calendar. Stand down. Let that man be celebrated today. Let that man be honored today. Shut your mouth. Leave him alone. He's not asking you to wait on him hand and foot. He's just saying, hey, just let me enjoy my day. Just let me enjoy my day. Stop making your post about, oh, I'm mother and father. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're just a mother. Stop trying to make everything about you. Stop trying to impose yourself into everything. You don't have men going around saying, I'm the mother too. That's crazy. Men don't do that. But it's crazy. Women will be like, oh, yeah, I'm mother and father. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. For whatever reason, the father may not be in the kid's life. That's his own separate issue. But you are not mother and father. You may have had to lead the household, but you did it as a mother. You didn't do it as a father. There's no way you could do it as a father. And hopefully after I finish this breakdown today, you'll see exactly why. There's no way you could have done it as a father. Because you're a woman, that's not your ministry. You aren't capable of carrying the weight that a man has to carry. You're not capable of that. Likewise, men, no man has ever said, oh man, I wonder what it's like to be a woman. No man has ever said that, because a real man knows that women are like basically superheroes. They carry life in them. So no man's walking around. Happy Father's Day to you, Ricardo. No man walks around and he's like, oh my goodness, I want to be a woman. I want to know what it's like to be a woman. No. Let's go back to gender roles. I know. Oh my God, we're in June, and I know that's not popular to say. And y'all could come after me. It's fine. It's fine. I know that's not popular to say, but let's go back to gender roles. Let's go back to the time when men were men and women were women. Can we do that? Can we do that? Can we have a strong, let's just be, hey, men are men and women are women. And today we are going to affirm the men. Hold on. Oh, thank you. As my seed brings me a Father's Day gift and a card. Thank you, baby. So let's go back to those times where men were men and women were women. But like I said, today is Father's Day. We're gonna uplift the brothers today. We've uplifted you guys for so long. Now it's time to uplift the brothers. And now we got 2 for 1 because it's Men's Mental Health Month and it's Father's Day. So let's get into it. Let me pull up my scriptures here. And again, happy Father's Day to all the brothers, man. They'll tell you like absent fathers and things like that, but then they won't tell you that 72% of, especially in our community, 72% of Black men are in their kids' lives. Now, they may not be in the house, and that's a separate conversation. We can have that conversation for later. That's a separate conversation as to why they aren't in the house, whatever issue, them and that woman may have not worked out or whatever, but they are still present. They are still in their kids' lives. And we got to stop lying so much. We got to, every man isn't a deadbeat. Even when we do these shows on here, when I'm talking about the negative, it's such a small portion that I'm talking about. Likewise, when we're talking about women, it's normally the vocal minority that we're shining the light on. So let's not get it twisted and act like dads aren't holding it down, like dads aren't doing their thing. Because here's the deal. I know a lot of brothers that have kids. I got like most of my homies. I think I probably got the least amount of kids. Most of my homies got like multiple kids. You look at Ricardo. Ricardo got, Ricardo trying to get a whole starting 5. Ricardo, hey, listen, and he's holding it down. And it's not easy, especially being a girl dad. You're literally raising a house full of girls. It's not easy at all. So don't stop trying to take that credit from that man, and stop trying to act like what he's doing is so minuscule, and stop trying to act like what he's doing, you could have done it by yourself. That's lies. It's foolishness. We got to stop doing that, especially in our community. And I harp on our community so much because I don't know what goes on in the other communities, granted. So there you go. Inside baseball. The reason I don't talk about other communities because I don't know what goes on inside other communities. But I know as far as our community, we like to paint a negative light on fathers, on Black fathers. And we try to act like they aren't there. We try to act like they aren't holding it down, like they aren't doing what they're supposed to do. That's crazy. Even in my profession, even when I'm at work, and if I got to let a guy go, I have a conversation with him before I let him go. And the majority of the guys that I've let go, they'll sit in my office and they'll be like, man, the first thing they say is, man, I got kids. The first thing they say is, man, I got kids. And it's because now I'm about to take their means of providing for their kids away. They didn't say, oh, man, I got a woman, or man, I got this house I got to pay for. Man, I got this car to pay for. The first thing they think about when they're about to lose their job is, man, I got kids. How am I going to take care of my kids? So don't sit here and act like men don't care about their kids. Again, that's foolishness. We're looking at the publicized. We're looking at the vocal minority, the ones that get blasted online. Like, oh my God, I'm so glad I haven't been on like IG and all those things. I feel like my sanity, my health has gotten better. Things are just because I'm tired of just seeing the nonsense. People don't live in real life. People don't live in the real world. In the real world, men are out there holding it down. Men are out there doing the damn thing. Men are out there taking care of their kids. Men are out there holding down the house. Men are out there just struggling. And then a lot of times they're doing it silently. They're doing it silently. I saw a video on YouTube the other day. I was just scrolling through the shorts, and it was a guy. He was like, men, if you want to know how to unalive yourself, stay tuned to the video. And then he just started showing pictures of his truck. And I'm like, okay, this is weird. And he came back a couple seconds later and he was like, you notice you didn't skip the video. And I'm like, oh my goodness, bro. Like, whoa. Man, so many men are leaving here at their own hands just because the pressure of the world is just, it's just so much for them, man. We deal with so much. There's so much that we deal with. There's so much that we face. And I'm just saying, let's figure it out, brothers. Let's figure it out, man. Get a support group, get with some brothers that you could talk to, get with some brothers that you could you could get in a circle with just to help you out, because we really need to figure this thing out, man. Our kids need us. We did a show on Man Talk Monday last week about men's health. Our kids need us, our families need us. So, man, this Father's Day, man, Kings, I hope you demand. Listen, you demand respect today. I know we go through life so much, and we're just like, all right, I don't want to argument, and I don't want to deal with her crap today. But you demand your respect. You demand your peace because you earned it. If you fathered those kids and you're taking care of those kids and you're holding it down, and those kids see you as a superhero, then for damn sure you better stand up and stand in your day. And if you want to be left alone and you want to relax, then you tell them that's what you want. Cook that man a steak. Be quiet. Bring him something to drink. Let him watch the TV. Do something. Give that man some space, man. Don't make today about you. Don't try to make him feel bad that he's not paying you attention. Don't try to make him feel bad that for one day out of the calendar year, he just wants to relax to himself. You don't know that in his relaxing, he may not be trying to come up with ways as to what he could do for you. See, that's how you are. Even in men, even in our time where we just want to be alone and we want to do our own thing, 9 out of 10, we're still thinking of ways to do things for you, or how we're going to help the family, what we're going to do next. Sometimes you just want to be left alone, though, because it's hard to think. You're trying to think about a solution and you constantly hear all this talking. So y'all leave that man alone, man. Leave that man alone. Get in the kitchen, make him some food. Hell, bring him the remote control if he wants it, and just leave him alone. Leave him alone. A couple years ago, what year is this? 2025. So a couple years ago, I think like 2 years ago, my wife bought me a PS5 for Father's Day. It was Father's Day. She bought me a PS5, and I just I'm just like, man, I was like, whoa. And sometime it'll just be that day where I'm like, okay, I'm getting my controller in my hand. Don't come in here. Y'all leave me alone. I just want to play. You know, the new college football is coming out soon, so that's coming up real soon. But let's get into the lesson, man. Let's get into the lesson. Oh man, let's So today's show is called the Blueprint. Excuse me, the Blueprint for Biblical Fatherhood. Here at Pause and Reflect, everything we do is always biblical based. The Blueprint for Biblical Fatherhood, building men, not just paying bills. You got to see us more as just the ATM machine. You got to see us more as just fixing things around the house, as just paying for this and paying for that. You got to start seeing us more than that. Like the fathers are the cornerstone of the community. And you want to tell me that I'm wrong? You go look in your community. You look in your community and you see the communities that are messed up. You see the communities that the kids are running amok. You see the community where the crime rate is high. And what you will not see is the fathers. Prove me wrong. Fathers matter. Fathers are the cornerstone of the community. Many people think that for men just showing up is all about paying bills, and that's what makes them a father. As long as the child support check comes in, as long as he buys my baby some shoes when I need it, that's not it, man. Real fatherhood is a calling. It's not a paycheck. Real fatherhood is a calling. Man, some of the best times I had with my daughter, it didn't cost me a dime. It was the time. It was the presence over the presence. Y'all will catch that. Presence over presence. You gotta be there. Being there is half the battle. Being there is half the battle. Being there is it lets them know that, I cared. I remember Everybody Hates Chris is one of my favorite shows. And there was a scene where Julius was leaving, and he told Chris, what does he say? He didn't tell Chris, I love you, but he said, I'll see you tomorrow. And Chris was saying, man, in my neighborhood, a father telling you he's seeing you tomorrow is better than I love you, because that means that he's coming back home. Like, and a lot of times, man, kids desire that. They want you to be there. They desire that presence of their dad. So stop making people stop letting them make you think that it's just a paycheck. It's not just a paycheck. Fatherhood is more than money. It's a ministry. It's a ministry. You can't call yourself a man of God and ignore the very souls he put you to take care of. This is to you, fathers. I'm gonna love on you, and I'm gonna love on you, and I'm correct you in some things today. You can't be that type of dad that's just like, I provide. That's all I do. I provide emotion. I provide physically. I provide financially, but you're never there emotionally for them. You're never there emotionally. You could buy them everything in the world, but you can't give them any time. You know, growing up, we used to always hear the stories where kids would be ask their parents, how much money do you make an hour? And the dad would tell them, and then the kids would give the dad, like, say the dad said, I made $25 an hour. The kid would work all week to save $25 and he'd give it to his dad. And his dad would be like, what's this? And he'd be like, can I buy an hour of your time? You guys got to understand that as a father, what we do, especially when they're young, oh my God, especially when they're young, is so important that being there, we shape, we what we do now as a father shapes them for the rest of their lives. You know, I'm going to go to the Bible and prove that to you, but I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just throwing it out there ahead of time. You know, many men see fatherhood as an obligation instead of an opportunity. Some men feel like that, like, oh man, I'm obligated. Because a lot of times, let's be real. Some kids weren't playing, you know, what they call them, whoop slippers. Some, you know, two parents being knuckleheads, not protecting themselves. They bring a kid into the world, and now you have to deal with it. But it's not, don't stop looking at your kids as an obligation. Our kids don't just need a man in the house. They need a man of God leading the house. Big difference. Big difference. I've said earlier about the 72% of black men are in their kids' lives. Those kids don't just need you in the house. Those kids need you to be a man of God leading that house. They need you to lead that house. Let's go into this scripture, man. 1 Timothy 5:8. Let's go to the Bible. Let's see what the Bible says. 1 Timothy 5:8 reads, but if any man provide not for his own, and especially for those of his own house, he had denied the faith and is worse than an infidel. Oh my goodness, man. Y'all heard y'all hear what the Bible just said. If any man provide not for his own, and especially for those in his own house, he had denied the faith and is worse than an infidel. Stop taking stop taking your resources outside of the house. Provide for your family. You hear what the scripture is telling you? That if you don't provide for those in your own house, you're worse than an infidel. Absolutely, time is more valuable than money. Absolutely, because you can't get time back. You can't get time back. It's the one thing. That is the one thing you cannot get back. But a man that doesn't provide for his own house is worse than an infidel. Proverbs 22:6. Here we go. I said I was going to hit you with it. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Listen, my dad is not a religious man at all. Like, my dad is the furthest from a religious man. But I remember growing up, my dad had this posted up on the refrigerator and on the wall. He had this scripture on the refrigerator and he had it on the wall. I knew this scripture before I knew the 23rd Psalm. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Remember when I said you lay the foundation that you lay right now is going to take that kid through the rest of their lives. Those foundations. Listen, what you teach a child now doesn't absolve them from getting in trouble later. No, it doesn't absolve them from making some terrible decisions. But what it does do is that before they hit rock bottom, normally they're going to remember those lessons, those principles that you taught them as a father. And they're going to be like, man, I got to get out of this. I got to get out of this. This is another biblical reference when we talk about the prodigal son. The prodigal son had went and spent all his money. He went and did all the fast living. He did everything he had to do. And I bring up the prodigal son because today's Father's Day. So that's the message you're going to hear in the pulpit. So I'm going to save you a trip. I'm going to save you a trip. But the prodigal son, he spent all his money. He did all the fast living and everything. And just when he was about to eat the pig slop, just when he was about to hit absolute rock bottom, he said, wait a minute. There's still room enough in my father's house. I got to get up and I got to go back to my father. He didn't say I had to go back to my mother. He said, I got to go back to my father because his father had taught him principle. Hear me talking today. We gotta start realizing that we're here. When you have kids, brother, you have been given a task that is not for the weak. God is saying, I am entrusting you to watch over these souls. I am entrusting you to watch over little humans that don't know anything yet. I am trusting you to watch over these little kids. I'm entrusting you to protect them. That's the weight of fatherhood. Fatherhood is not just glamorous and we could wear the matching shoes and they could be like, oh, the baby look just like you. No. Fatherhood is saying, hey, I am putting you here as this kid's protector. That's the weight of fatherhood. That's the weight of fatherhood. And I salute every great father that stands up and they do it. They stand up and they do it with no money in the bank. They stand up and they do it with everybody laughing at them. They stand up and they do it with that woman constantly nagging them. I salute you. Stand in your strength, man, and be a dad to your kids. Be a dad to your kids, because let me tell you something. When you're dying and you're laying on your deathbed, or you only got a couple of years to live or whatever, if you took care of those kids and you got good kids, they're gonna be like, you know what? You're not going in any nursing home. You come in here with me. You're gonna live out the rest of your years with me and your grandkids and things like that. The seed that you plant right now, bro, like the seed that you plant right now is not even for right now. It's not even for right now. It's literally for years down the line. It's literally for years down the line. Fathers are so important. So important. Don't let anybody tell you that you don't matter. I hate this one. Stop. Hey, listen, man. If they tell you, oh, you're just my sperm donors, just cuss them out, man, because that's foolishness. That's foolishness. It's time to start getting back a standard. It's time to bring back a standard in the house. And you realize the order that God set. Christ over the man over the woman over the children. There's a biblical order to this thing. Stop. You know how many years it took? I saw a picture the other day where it showed a woman, like she was a homemaker. The husband was wearing a suit. They had 2 kids and the picture just said, man, you know how many years it took for feminism to tell women that this wasn't acceptable? Bro, let's change up the game, man, regardless of everything that you see going on. And we're not saying that you guys aren't strong. Yeah. We know you're strong. You had to do things sometimes that you didn't want to do. But I always contend that most women who are leading the household are in the position that they weren't never meant to be in. You ask a woman, do they really want to be there running the house by themselves? And if you talk to them honestly, they'll tell you, no, I wish the man was here. I wish the man was here. Hell, I got this air conditioner that I started installing yesterday. You asked my wife, hey, do you want to go install that? She'll be like, nah, he got it. He got it. Nah, it's all good. Do you want to? A guy told me he was going to charge me $4,500 to put that air conditioner in. I said, man, all right, you crazy as hell. I'll do it myself. And I started doing it yesterday. And I'm just like, I'm if you ask my wife right now, you'd be like, hey, you want to do this? She'll look at you and just, yeah, you might get cussed out. Bro, men are so important, man. We gotta stop letting them take our power away from us, man. Listen, training isn't just telling. Me telling you to do something, that's not training you. Sometimes you got to be hands-on. It's showing your children will remember what you did more than what you said. Oh my goodness, bro. If you're raising kids, you're raising kids in the house and daughter, son, whatever, and they see you treating your wife or girlfriend, whatever, bad, and you're abusive to her and things like that. But then you turn around and tell your kids, hey, you know you're not supposed to do this. Don't treat women this way. What like what is that? That's falling on deaf ears, because they are going to go by what they see you doing, because your words are your actions are saying something totally different. You on one hand are telling them don't do this, but they see you doing it every night. Actions speak louder than words. That's why we have to get to a point. Training up a child is not just telling them something. It is showing them. It is showing them. And the way you should go means understanding your child's gifts and purposes. Don't force them to be you, but mold them to be who God called them to be. Oh, let's pause right there for a little bit, man. Stop trying to live vicariously through your kids. Your kid's 10 years old and you already trying to make them be a doctor. Get out of here. They ain't even in middle school yet. They don't know what they want to be. Stop trying to project your shortcomings through your kids because you didn't accomplish what you wanted in life. Now you're trying to force that on that kid, and you're making that kid's life miserable. And I hate to say this, but a lot of that comes from women. And when the man is in the house, he could stop that. He's like, hey, stop that. Stop that. Stop trying to project. Stop trying to project, on this kid. Let children be children. Oh my God, I'm so tired now. I go around and you see little girls now got full lace fronts and things like that, not even 12 years old. No more barrettes, nothing like that. What happened, man? Let kids be kids. Let kids be kids. But again, when you remove the father, or when you try to henpeck the father, you try to neuter the father, you try to silence everything he says every time, then that's what you get. You're the product of that. There's a video I did see. God, I hope I saved this video because I do want to show this on Man Talk Monday. But there was this mother that was dancing provocatively, go figure, and had her little kid doing the same thing. And the dad was pissed, bro. The dad came in and saw that, and I mean, he was pissed. And they all attacked the dad like he was doing something wrong. And then when that man shuts off, and now he's like, you know what? You don't listen anyway. So I'm just gonna go, I'm gonna do my own thing. I'm gonna go into my cave. Then you get mad, and then you say that he's not helping you. But you cut him off at every turn. Every time he tries to make a decision, every time he puts his foot down for something, you're cutting him off. And at the very least, he's trying to teach you not to turn your daughter into a whore, and you're cutting him off for that. I see if it was something simple like, all right, well, maybe I don't want her to get this handbag or something, or get her nails done or something. I think she's too young for that. No, this is literally a woman got her daughter online dancing like a thot, and the dad is not happy with it. And she's mad at the dad. But I tell you, fathers are so important because of stuff like that. Fathers protect. Hey, listen, fathers. Hey, well, y'all forgive me what I'm about to say, man. Sometimes I'm going to say this real quiet. Sometimes fathers protect their kids from the mothers. Ooh, boy. Sometimes fathers protect their kids from the mothers. Man, the silence speaks volumes with that one. I know. Oh man, let's go to another scripture, Ephesians 6:4. And you fathers, do not provoke your children to wrath, but bring them up in the training and admonition of the Lord. Man, what do we always talk about on Pause and Reflect? Kids need structure. Men need structure, but kids structure shouldn't start from when you're a man. Because if you're trying to get structure when you're a man, then you got a lot of work to do because it's kind of too late. But you start them off as kids. Kids need structure from a very young age. Because if not, then they run amok. Kids need order, not chaos. Set rules that are fair and clear. Set some rules, set some boundaries. You can't do everything. You can't get in grown folks' conversation. Learn to stay in a child's place. Structure. The father provides structure. Instruction. Teach them why the rules matter. Rooted in scriptures, just not your mood. Listen, we got to get back. The commandments is the most basic thing. We know the golden rule: do unto others as you have others do unto you. We got to teach that to our kids, that they don't go out here and they don't run amok. They don't act a fool. And then when they get into a run-in with the police, they don't know how to act because you never taught them anything. They think they could just be all chaotic and they could just act any way they want because they weren't ever taught anything. Teach them some structure. Here's another one. Affection. Real men aren't ashamed to show love. Your children need to feel it and see it. And it's not just for girls. Stop just thinking, oh, I show my daughter affection and that's fine. No. Hey, listen, man, when the last time you hugged your son? I got a daughter, so I just got one child. But when was the last time you hugged your son? When was the last time you told your son that you love him? When was the last time you kissed your son on the forehead? When was the last time you kissed your son on the cheek? I always tell the story at my wedding. It was my wedding day, 2013. I was 33 years old. Before I walked up to that altar, my dad caught me in the back, put his arms on my shoulder. Actually, I think we still had that picture. Put his arms on my put both his arms on my shoulders and kissed me on my forehead and told me how proud he was of me. At 33 years old, I turned into a little kid then. 33 years old, about to be somebody's husband. My dad just affirmed me and just told me how proud he was of me. 33 years old. And then a couple of years later, he had this big extravagant birthday party for his 60th. And you know me, I got the microphone because I got to tell the virtues of my dad. And before it was over, I flipped the tables on him. I turned around and I did the exact same thing to him and kissed him on his forehead. And man, to see that grown man just turn into jelly like that. Listen, man, kid, hey, listen, just because you're a man, you ain't stop having feelings. Men want to be loved. Men, there's a kid in a lot of men that's just been lying dormant because they taught us for so long. All we got to do, we got to be tough. We got to be tough. We got to be tough. I watched a video where these kids were in football training, and I sent it to Kev. I didn't send it to Mike. I didn't send it to Wayne because I knew what they would say, but I sent it to Kev because Kev is younger than me, and sometimes I have to try to understand how this new age kid works. I'm watching the video and I'm like, man, That worked for us. Poor kids aren't doing good in football practice, and they got them constantly running Oklahoma drill. Kids crying and everything, but they still got them running the drill. And I'm like, man, for us, that worked. But the more that I look at it now, I'm like, man, that's abuse, bro. Can't you find another way to get to that kid? We teach these kids from such young ages that they have to be such savages. They can't cry about anything. They can't show their emotion about anything. And then when we have the products that we have now, you're like, oh, I wonder why. Because you didn't show them any affection. Start showing your boys some affection. Ain't nothing wrong with hugging. Like, man, you know, people say that I'm homophobic. I'm not homophobic. That's ridiculous. But man, sometimes I got to wonder about some people. You can't even hug your son? Like that's crossing the line? What has happened to us as a society? I don't know. We got to show some correction, man. Correction. Discipline isn't about punishment. Here we go. I was just talking about that in football. Discipline isn't about punishment. It's about guidance. Correct them because you care about their future. Correct them. But all this is from the dad. All this is from the dad. Growing up, if my stepmother said something to me, you know, she like to give whooping. She'd have beat the hell out of me growing up. But my dad didn't have to do anything. My dad just would have to look at me. And I'm like, oh man, he just invoked the fear of God in me. What do we see? We see it so much on these shows. Don't let me tell your father. Don't let me tell your father. So stop acting like dads don't matter, man. Come on. Get off of that bull crap. Stop acting like dads don't matter. Stop acting like you could do everything by yourself, because you can't. You can't. Let's reason together. Let's get these dads. Let's get these dads that they don't have to be in the house, because sometimes you guys can't coexist, things like that. But at the very least, you could co-parent to raise your kids. At the very least. At the very least, you could co-parent to raise your kids, so that when a day like today comes around, you won't be you won't be trying to take the credit. I raised all my kids by myself. I raised all my 10 kids by myself. And you don't see a problem with that? You don't see a problem with that. That is not something that I would be glorifying. Hey, but what do I know? I'm not done, but I'm almost done. I told y'all that's why I'm doing this today, because there's no way I could have done this before work. But listen, bro, fathers are just, I don't think I could ever just stress the importance of fathers, man. I just can't stress it. Let's go to another scripture, Malachi. Hey, whenever people go to the book of Malachi, what's the scripture that they always go to? When they go to Malachi, they always say, turn to Malachi, bring all the tithes in the storehouse to me, and see if I will not pour you out a blessing as you have room not to receive. Not knowing that has nothing to do with what they're talking about. But that I'll discuss that next week. That'll be in my notes next week. Malachi 4:6, and he shall turn the heart of the fathers to their children, and the heart of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse. Whew. The Bible. My God, the Bible, the word of God, the scriptures. I had a sister try to dispute me on a panel a couple of weeks ago and tell me, oh, the Bible's just something made up. The Bible just something written by men. And every time I showed her herself in the scriptures, it was another excuse. Because the reason people kick against the Bible is because the Bible forces you to live righteously. And nobody wants to live righteously anymore. Everybody just wants to do their own thing. without rules, without consequences. When fathers aren't present, children grow up searching for direction in the wrong places. Let's stop here. We always know, especially in our community. I said it earlier. You look at the communities that are really messed up. You look at the community with high crime rate. You look at the communities where kids are running amok. What you will not see is a strong father present. When there's no fathers in the house, the kids start to look for that father. They try to find that father in other people. Normally, it's in their other fatherless friends. So that's the blind leading the blind. You literally have the blind leading the blind because they're looking for a father. They're going to their friends who don't have fathers, and now they just leading each other blind. And there's no direction. The absence creates a vacuum filled by gangs, street culture, and false role models. Listen, man, you be that role model to your kids. Your kids shouldn't be looking up to these rappers and all that as their role models. You could enjoy the art, you could appreciate the art, but don't look up to these rappers as role models. Stop doing that. Your kids should be looking up to you as a role model, because you should be in a position that you're honorable, you're admirable, that they could look to you and they'd be like, man, I watched my dad get knocked down, but he still gets back up. Still gets back up every time. He don't let anything defeat him. He's always there for me. Always there for me. I told y'all a couple weeks ago, I forget what it was. My daughter did something. I don't know what it was. And I don't hit my daughter. That's one thing. And I just don't. And she got this look on her face. And she just asked me, she was like, Daddy, are you disappointed? Like, that's what she asked me. She didn't ask me if I was mad at her. She asked me if I was disappointed in her. I'm going to tell you guys how important fathers are. You could say whatever you want, but kids, girls and boys, they look for the affirmations of their dads. If the worst thing they want to do is disappoint their dad. I remember in my 20s, I did something real bad. I did something so heinous. And it was just, there's a look on my dad's face when he found out. He was like, man, he's like, I'm so disappointed in you. I'm like, damn. That one got me. You don't, man, I can't, I don't think I'm getting through enough, but I need you to understand how important these fathers are, man. Fathers shape the very fabric. You know what I loved about this most recent NFL draft that was different from every other draft that I had seen? All the top picks, their dads were up on the stage. You never see that. Every time you see the NFL draft, you always see the mothers and they up there with their white girlfriends. This time it was totally different. They were up there with their mothers and their fathers and their queens, their black queens. And what that lets me know is it just took some time, because everything is cyclical. It just took some time, but order is being restored in the land. You look at the NFL draft takes place every year, and every year you see all these first round picks get drafted, and their mothers are the only ones that's there. The moms are never there. That's why we started Man Talk Monday, because I looked at it. I said, hey, Mike, you know what's funny? Look at this draft. There was no fathers there. Hey, Let's do a show every Monday and start talking about stuff like this. That was the genesis of Man Talk Monday. And here we are. The 2025 draft just happened, and you see nothing but fathers on the stage. That lets me know that the earth is correcting itself. Things are getting back in place. Parents are being parents, and they're like, you know what? Even though we're not together, we still got this kid to raise. Let's both share in the glory of the kid that we made, that we produced, that we cultivated, that we pushed to the forefront. Listen, man, there's the curse here isn't just spiritualism, it's a practical curse. Look around, look at the broken homes. I keep saying this, man. Broken homes lead broken communities. You got to go back to it. You look at your communities, you look at the condition of your community, you can go to the homes and see why the community is the way that it is. If we want to break generational curses, it starts with fathers turning back to their children. Well, I just say, you gotta, it's so simple. God laid it all back. The Lord laid it all out to us, and he should turn the hearts of the fathers to their children and his children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse. The Lord is telling you how this should work. Then I have the same person tell me, oh, the Bible is so misogynistic. No, the Bible is teaching you order. The Bible is teaching you order. And the worst thing I hate is for somebody who says they believe to try to find a fault in everything. Oh, it's so misogynistic. Oh, it's so misogynistic. This and that. Come on, man. Get out of here. It is teaching you order. It is teaching you order. But people don't want to be led. They never want to be led. They just want to go out and they want to do everything they want. They want to waste their lives and don't realize that they're ruining their kids in the process. You're ruining your kids in the process. You just don't want to see it. I'm almost done here. Let me go to my last point here. Let's go to the book of Psalm 103:13. As a father has compassion on his children, so the Lord has compassion on those who fear him. Don't let the shame keep you silent, man. God's mercy is bigger. Listen, you weren't in your kid's life. But as long as you're breathing, there you got time to correct that. You were absentee father. You were locked up. You just got out of jail. Try to rekindle that relationship now. And here's the thing that a lot of men, they don't want to do. A lot of people in general, but we're focusing on men today. Start by acknowledging where you went wrong. Then take one step at a time to rebuild. You can't go anywhere. You can't progress in life until you admit that you were wrong. Where did you fall short? Where did you fall short? Acknowledge the exact moment, the very moment where you fell short. And then take the steps to rebuild. Your kids may not trust you overnight, but consistency in prayer can melt even the hardest heart. We see it all the time, man. Guys show back up and they want to do right. They haven't been in their kid's life. And, and again, I got to go back to this. The mom has been there. So the mom could feed in their mind whatever. So we don't know what she was telling. We don't know. But they have this vision built up of their dad, and now he shows up and he's trying to do right. And sometimes you're gonna have to eat some crow. They're not just gonna accept you just like that. That's not how that works. They're not just gonna accept you overnight and be like, all right, you can come back in my life. No, you got to rebuild some of that damage. But stay consistent. Stay consistent. Make a conscious effort. Don't force them too much. Just be consistent, man. And remember, it's never too late to become the father that God intended you to be. It's never too late. Never too late to become the father that God intended you to be. Ricardo says 1 Corinthians 16:13, be watchful, stand firm in the faith, act like men, and be strong. Y'all hear the Bible. Y'all hear the deacon. Y'all see the deacon around here? I see the deacon. Deacon Ricardo. Man. Let me see. I'm coming up on an hour here. Let me go ahead and close out here. So I'll leave you with this, man. So it's 10 years. This is 10 years to the date. It's so funny. My daughter's 10 years old. My daughter was born in 2015. And, you follow me long enough, you all know the story. My daughter was born basically 3 months early. So she spent a significant amount of time in the NICU. A lot of time. And it just so happened around the time she was brewing, because we thought that she was going to be, that her birth was going to be, when it was going to be the correct time based on what they were telling us. I had just started ministerial training. I'll show you how funny things are. I'll show you how funny life is. I had just started ministerial training, and I was going to classes every day. And well, not every day, but whenever we did, I think we did them like twice a week. I was going to these classes and things like that. Faithfully, man, just faithfully. Because I always had a passion, man. I always knew that this is what I wanted to do. When I graduated, if you look at, in school, when in the yearbook, you get to write your will and testament, what they call you in the yearbook. If you go back to my yearbook and you look at the will and testament, it said that I wanted to be, it literally said, I remember this right out of thing. It said, I wanted to be an AC repairman, and I want to preach the gospel. That was in 1998. I said that. So this has always been in me. This is not something that I just up and one day decided like, oh, let me pick the Bible up. No, this has always been in me. I was literally saying this in school, that this is what I was going to be doing in life. It's funny. I just started installing the AC yesterday. I'm not an AC repair. I'm not an AC, but you see how great things are. You see how, oh man, I tell you, man, when oh boy, you talk about the goodness of the Lord, man. It's fun. I didn't even think about that. I just mentioned earlier how I was working on this AC. I'm not an AC repairman, but I will tell you, if young boys, hell, women too, y'all want a good trade, instead of wasting your parents' money for college, if you're not going into a field that's going to make you a lot of money, if you want a trade to go in the air conditioning and refrigeration trade. You heard what I just said. This guy wanted to charge me $4,500 to install a split unit AC. $4,500. I literally just started doing it yesterday and doing the wiring and everything on my own. I just don't touch electrical, so I'll fix everything else up, and I'll get one of my electrician guys from work to come hook up the electrical part and do the vacuuming of the lines. But I did everything else, all the mounting, all the, hooking up the lines and all that other stuff. So if you want a field to go into, don't shun air conditioning and refrigeration, especially if you live in the South. We haven't seen a day outside of 90 degrees in this month. So y'all in high demand, and you can make a lot of money doing that. So that's just free game there. But let me get back to what I was saying. So I was doing ministerial training, and then that's when stuff started hitting the fan, and that's when my daughter came out early. So obviously I couldn't go to training. I really wanted to, but I just couldn't because I was going to the hospital every single day For the 77 days my daughter spent in the hospital, I didn't go one day. I just didn't go one day. It was just one day that I didn't go. So I went 76 days. And then sometimes I was going 2 a day, so it counts as every day. So we were I wasn't doing my training, and I'm falling behind in the training and everything like that. And I want to say at the same time, my mother-in-law was retiring. Yeah, it's all coming back to me now. My memory, if it's something happened so long ago, I can remember it like it was yesterday. And my pastor we were all at this place, and my pastor was sitting there, and he called me. He was like, "Hey, come here." And I'm like, "Oh boy." And he was like, he said, I was like, "What's up?" He asked me how my daughter's doing and everything like that. And you always say all right. Because we never want to be like, oh man, I don't know. I'm scared to death. I really don't know what's going on. I'm looking at this thing that's not even fully formed all the way, but so he was like, he said, I want you to preach the Father's Day message. I'm like, what? I said, I didn't finish my training or anything like that. And he said, I want you to bring the message forth on Father's Day. So, all right, I'm still in the hospital, and I gotta bring the word forth. And it just so happened that it all started coming together where my I would make these checks every morning. I call the hospital every morning just to get the update to see how my daughter was doing. And the nurse at the time, his name was Richard, he's like, yeah, we just did the car seat check. I'm like, car seat check? For those of you who don't know, if you have a child in NICU, when they're going to release them, they do what's called the car seat check. They want to make sure that they could withstand the ride. So they did the car seat check. I'm like, well, wait a minute. What do you mean by that? Do you mean that she's coming home? And I was like, yeah. Now, granted, Father's Day is on the 19th. She got discharged on the 12th of June. So now I'm tasked with preaching the Father's Day message. And now my daughter's being released a week before. And my, and man, it was just crazy. I preach the message. I see God in the fire, and I use I use the Hebrew boys as my text. And I was just saying how when King Nebuchadnezzar, when they increased the fire, and they were like, he looked in there, and his men were like, well, how come? He said, didn't we throw 3 of them in there? And and then he said, well, how come I see a 4th man that looks like the Son of God? And I told the congregation that day, I said, you got another man in the fire with you. And I always believe that no matter what you're going through, you got another man in the fire with you. And I'm speaking specifically to the fathers right now. Life is hard. Things get hard. Things are very difficult. We don't get the respect we deserve. Yada, 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 yada. But you got another man in the fire with you. Man, sometimes it takes it always just takes little things, man, just to remind me when I say how, I walked away like I did. I and leaving the church is totally different. That's not, I don't care about the church building. I don't care about that. But there was a point in time where I was just like, man, this stuff might not even be real. I don't know. I'm just all right. Glad I don't have my camera on right now. Let me close out here. Listen, to the fathers. Oh, and it's funny because at that preached message and getting ready to give, my pastor came back up and he was getting ready to give benediction, and he was like, he said, he had me, my wife, and my daughter up there, and he said, Trevor had started. Hold on, hold on, hold on. All right, I'm back. He said that Trevor had started, ministerial training, and he had to stop, obviously, for obvious reasons. If there ever was a reason to stop, this would have been a great reason. So he said that he had to stop to take care of his family. Again, he had to stop to be a father. And I never forget, I got to find that video. He said, but what Trevor didn't know is that for those 77 days, he was in real training. That he was learning something that you can't learn in the classroom. And for 77 days, I had to learn what it meant to stand up, to be a man, to be a father, to be a husband, because the wife was hurting too. And instantaneously, right then and there, with no training or anything like that, he had ordained me right on the spot. Because there's some lessons that you can't learn in the classroom. There's some lessons that you're going to have to do some hands-on training. And I'm telling you, fatherhood is one of them. There's no manual. There's no book. There's nothing. There's no reference material. There's nothing. I could go on YouTube and learn how to do anything. There ain't even a YouTube video that could teach you how to be a father. You got to learn all this stuff on the go. One thing that I do say, I'm not the greatest of person, but I think I'm a hell of a father. And those of you brothers out there that is not being arrogant, you stand up in it. You know that you're a hell of a father. Don't let anybody tell you anything different. You keep being a father to those kids. You keep raising those kids in the fear of the Lord. You keep raising those kids and making them productive citizens. Because those kids are your legacy. When you grow up, they're going to be like, man, those were such and such kids. Man, those are such and such kids. Man, he raised them right. That's got to be like the greatest honor for a father to hear. Man, he raised them right. Don't let anybody take that away from you. Don't let no bitter baby mamas. Don't let the society that try to tell you that black men ain't nothing. And don't let anybody take that away from you. You raise those kids. And then my closing, I tell you this. Your child doesn't need a superhero. They need a stable man of God. Not going to be a superhero. Superman spent the majority of his time being Clark Kent. We saw Superman because that's what was glamorous. But the majority of Superman's time was spent being Clark Kent. See, kids don't need a superhero. They need a stable man of God, one who protects, instructs, and corrects with love. Don't let your past define your legacy. Be the father today that you wished raised you. I often ask this question: Would you let your daughter date you? If a kid came to pick up your daughter to go out on a date and he was exactly like you, would you let your daughter date you? And if that answer is no, then we got some work to do. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a man with a microphone. Hopefully, man, brothers, y'all enjoy your day. Enjoy your day. See, so here's the conundrum that I'm in. So now this is a day that they'll set aside for me to just relax and they'll leave me alone. But I've been up all night wondering, thinking about this doggone AC. So I'm gonna at some point in the day, I'm gonna go outside and mess with this AC. It's already 90 degrees outside, so I might wait until it gets later. But for the majority of the day, I am going to relax. I'm going to chill. I hear something being whipped up in the kitchen. So I don't know what it is, but something being worked on for me. But yeah, man, brothers, let them treat you like a king today, man. You're a king, man. Let them treat you like a king. And I literally went this whole show without admonishing the bad fathers, because they'll tell me, "Oh man, all you do is brag on the bad part." So I'll get you on another episode. But today I want to shine a spotlight on the kings that's standing up, the kings that's doing the damn thing, handling business in the face of all his adversity. Today is your day, brothers, and I salute you, man. Put your crown on, get you a cigar, get you some Crown Royal, whatever you want to do. Eat a steak, do something, man. Just enjoy your day, man. Enjoy your day. Enjoy today, man. I know the restaurants ain't gonna be packed, so if you want to go to a restaurant, you could probably easily get in there today. But enjoy your day, man. Oh boy. Enjoy your day, Kings. Enjoy your day, man. This has been the special Sunday edition of Pause and Reflect. I'll be back with you next Sunday for an episode on church hurt. I've been trying to get to this church hurt episode for the longest, but I'm going to do it next Sunday around this same time. So if you feel so inclined, be sure to tune into that. We're gonna really get into it, what it is, church hurt, and why so many black men are leaving the church. So you won't want to miss that. Plus, I'll be doing my regular Pause and Reflect episode throughout the week. So even though as busy as I am, they've been getting fewer and far between. So I may only be able to do one a week versus the 3 that I initially started out doing. So, but nevertheless, man, if you subscribe to the channel, you won't miss it because it'll pop right up. I always have them out there. And we'll be back for Man Talk Monday. Man Talk Monday will be on Tuesday. Going forward, Man Talk Monday is going to be on a Tuesday. So it's going to be Man Talk Monday on a Tuesday. That's what show's gonna be named. Just because of my schedule and the way things are working out. So we're gonna start doing Man Talk Monday on Tuesday for the remaining 8 shows that we have. We got a great show lined up for you. I got to get the thumbnail and everything up. That should be up later today. So, but tune into the channel, man. See everything we got going on, man. And hey, thank you guys so much for giving me your ear. Now you can go to church. Go to church and tell your pastor, man, he better go into them scriptures. Tell him you don't want no motivational. Tell him you don't want no motivational speech. You can motivate yourself. Tell him to go in that book and break down those scriptures, because that's the only thing that's going to give you life. Hey, I'll see you guys on the other side, man. Peace.
I am inevitable.
When you see men fall, don't laugh. Learn. Because you're on your way up. And the things that tempt people to fall, you and I are not free from that temptation, nor from the weakness that will cause us to stumble and fall. When you laugh at somebody else's fall, white or black, rich or poor, your enemy or your friend, you are laughing and opening a way for your own demise when you do that. Because to laugh and not learn, to make mockery and not to understand, is to make the same mistake yourself.